Jack walked through the busy alien market, his boots tapping on the metal floor. Bright lights flashed everywhere, and strange creatures sold colorful fruits, glowing crystals, and tiny machines that floated in the air. The air smelled of spices, oil, and something sweet he couldn't name. Jack was just here for supplies. He didn't like crowds, and the station was crowded like a hive. He kept his head down, moving quickly between stalls. Suddenly, through the noise, he heard a voice. It was soft but clear. Jack. He stopped. That was his name. But it wasn't a shout. It was a gentle call, like someone who knew him. He looked around, confused. He saw a merchant arguing, a child laughing, an old robot sweeping. Then again, Jack. Do you not recognize me? This time he spun around. And then he saw her. She stood a few feet away. A woman, but not human. Her skin was a smooth violet, glowing softly under the lights. Her silver hair flowed down her back, shining like liquid metal. Her eyes were bright, almost silver, but with a hint of sadness. She was smiling. Not a stranger's smile. A smile that said she knew him. Jack blinked. He didn't know any violet-skinned women. He didn't know any aliens like her. Who are you? Jack asked. She tilted her head, her smile deepening. I was your childhood neighbor, she said softly. Do you truly not remember me? Human? Jack stared, speechless. His childhood? But he grew up on Earth, in a normal human colony. There were no aliens living near his home. Was she mistaking him for someone else? But before he could ask more, the market crowd shifted. A group of traders pushed between them, blocking his view. Jack shoved past them quickly, trying to keep his eyes on the strange woman. She was gone. Jack stood there, heart racing. He looked everywhere. She had disappeared like smoke. Damn, he muttered. This wasn't a normal mistake. She knew his name. She spoke gently, like she knew him well. But how? He didn't remember her. Jack hurried back to his ship. The market didn't feel safe anymore. On his way, his mind spun with questions. Back in his ship, the Stargazer, Jack sat in his chair, staring at the dark wall. A childhood neighbor? He tried to remember. He remembered playing with some kids, running through the green fields near his home. But there was one girl, yes, a girl with silver hair. But her skin wasn't violet. It was normal, like his. Was his mind playing tricks? Jack stood up and walked to the console. He pulled up old family photos, but the records were incomplete. Too many files were lost when his parents died in a colony accident. Frustrated, he rubbed his face. Then the console flickered. His AI, a smooth voice named Arrow, spoke. Captain. A minor system breach was detected. It lasted only 5 seconds. No damage, but an unknown signal entered. Jack frowned. Show me. Arrow displayed a short code string, encrypted, but old, strange. Jack couldn't break it immediately, but it didn't seem harmful. Then a message flashed on the screen. Find me, Jack, before others do. No sender name. No trace. Jack leaned back, his heart pounding again. That had to be her. But who was she? Why contact him this way? Then Arrow said, Captain, based on the signal origin, I suggest caution. It came from inside the station. Possibly the same woman. Jack nodded slowly. Someone else might be watching him. Someone powerful enough to hack his ship for just a few seconds. Jack whispered to himself. What are you hiding, Silverhair? He stood up, paced the room. Part of him wanted to leave, forget it. But another part, the part that remembered. A silver-haired girl in green fields wouldn't let it go. She said she was his childhood neighbor. And her eyes. He had to know the truth. Jack checked his blaster, made sure it was charged, and prepared to head back to the market. But as he stepped towards the door, the console beeped again. A new set of coordinates appeared on the screen. Coordinates to somewhere deep in uncharted space. No sender, no message. Just a blinking prompt. Come find me. Jack stared at it, his mind racing. Who was she? Why reach out now, after all these years? And why did he feel connected to her? He didn't have answers. But he knew one thing. Was going to find her, even if it killed him. Jack sat in his pilot chair, staring at the glowing coordinates on the screen. The message had no name, no explanation, only a quiet call to come find her. The memory of her soft voice haunted him. I was your childhood neighbor. But how? Jack's childhood was nothing special. He grew up in a dusty colony on the outskirts of Earth's expansion zones. Everyone was human, or so he thought. Jack whispered to himself, did I really forget someone like her? He opened his personal files, digging into old data logs, family videos, and images. Many files were corrupted or incomplete, especially after the colony accident that killed his parents. Still, he searched. One old video played blurry and shaking. A small boy, Jack himself, laughing and running in a field under two bright suns. He was chasing a girl. She had long silver hair, almost glowing under the light, but her face was blurred, too distorted to recognize. Jack frowned. He didn't remember her name. He didn't even remember her being different. But that hair silver, just like the alien woman in the market. His ship's AI Arrow broke the silence. Captain, your heartbeat is elevated. Should I prepare medical scans? Jack chuckled bitterly. No, Arrow. I'm just remembering someone I forgot. Arrow hummed softly, then said, records indicate no alien species were authorized to live in your childhood colony, Captain. But many files are missing from that period. Jack stood and paced the deck. Then she wasn't authorized. Maybe her family hid there, disguised. But why? Why would an alien family hide on a human colony? And why would she find him now? After so many years? Then another thought hit him. What did she mean by before others do? Who else is looking for her? Before he could think further, the proximity alarm blared. Arrow's voice grew sharp. Captain, a stealth ship is tailing us. Unknown class. They're not broadcasting identification. Jack's eyes widened. How close? 20 kilometers. And closing fast, Jack cursed. That wasn't a coincidence. Prepare evasive maneuvers. His hands flew across the controls. The Stargazer's engines roared to life, and the ship darted through the trade station's outer rings. Behind him, the unknown ship gave chase, its weapon systems lighting up on Arrow's scans. Who were they? Mercenaries, hunters, or someone after the same woman? Jack's mind raced as he weaved through floating debris. He couldn't let himself get caught. He needed answers first. Arrow. Engage jump drive. Input those coordinates. Acknowledged, Captain. Calculating jump trajectory. Stand by 5 seconds. Laser fire zipped past the Stargazer, close enough to shake the hull. Jack gritted his teeth. Come on, faster. 3, 2, 1. Jump! Space folded around the ship, and with a flash, the Stargazer vanished into the warp. The attackers were left behind, the stars stretching into nothingness. Silence returned. Jack sat back, breathing hard. He was safe, for now, but this was bigger than he thought. Someone didn't want him to reach her. After the jump, the Stargazer emerged into a dark, quiet region of space. The coordinates led to a small, empty star system with a single dead planet. Orbiting a fading sun. Nothing moved here. No signals, no life signs. Just silence. Then Arrow spoke. Captain, I'm detecting a low-frequency beacon from the planet's surface. It matches the same signature that hacked our system. Jack's heart pounded again. She was here. Or at least someone who knew him. He grabbed his jacket, strapped on his sidearm, and prepared the landing shuttle. As he stepped inside, he looked. Back at the main console. Somewhere, down there was a piece of his forgotten past, And maybe, just maybe, the truth about the silver-haired girl he once knew. He whispered to himself, "I need to remember, before it's too late." The shuttle. Doors closed, engines firing up. The descent to the dead world had begun. And with it, a journey into memories Jack never knew he lost. Jack's shuttle broke through the thin atmosphere of the dead planet. The sky was gray, covered in endless clouds, and the surface below was nothing but dark rocks and dry canyons. There was no wind, no animals, no sound. Just emptiness, but the beacon was real. The signal was coming from inside a deep canyon. Jack flew the shuttle carefully between sharp cliffs until he saw it, an ancient-looking structure hidden in the rocks. It wasn't human. It was old, covered in strange markings that glowed faintly in the dark. Jack landed nearby, grabbed his blaster, and stepped out. The air was thin, but his suit kept him steady. Every step echoed against the stones as he approached the entrance. The doorway was shaped like a perfect circle, the glowing symbols forming a ring around it. Then, without warning, a soft female voice spoke through his helmet's radio. "Jack." "You came." Jack froze. "Who are you? Where are you?" he asked. Looking around, the voice was calm, almost sad. "You don't remember me, but I remember every moment with you. I remember the way you smiled when we climbed the old trees near your home. I remember when you said you'd never forget me. But you did." Jack's chest tightened. That voice was familiar. Somewhere deep inside, a memory stirred, but it was too far to reach. "Why can't I remember you?" he asked quietly. The voice answered, "Because they made you forget, Jack. They made you forget everything about me." "About what I am?" Jack stepped closer to the entrance. "Who did?" Before she could answer, the ground shook slightly. A mechanical sound echoed through the canyon. Jack spun around, blaster ready. A ship was descending nearby, sleek black, with sharp wings. Not a trader ship, not military. Something else. His radio buzzed again, but this time a different voice. "Rough cold. You've walked into the wrong place, human. Step away from the structure and hand over your data." Jack cursed under his breath. Someone had tracked him here. The soft female voice returned, urgent now. "Jack, you must enter the structure. Only you can open it. It's encoded to your DNA. Go before they catch you." Jack didn't hesitate. He rushed to the circular door. As he touched the symbols, they lit up brighter. The circle began to rotate slowly, grinding like ancient stone gears. Blaster fire cracked behind him. The strangers were firing already. Jack dove through the opening as it slid open just enough. Inside, he found himself in a wide, dark chamber glowing with blue lights. The door sealed shut behind him, safe for now. The voice spoke again, clearer this time. "Thank you for trusting me, Jack. I'm Celia. I was your friend, your neighbor. Before everything changed." A soft blue light illuminated the center of the chamber. A hologram flickered to life, a projection of her. Sely stood gracefully, her violet skin and silver hair, just like he remembered from the market. But younger, softer, like the girl in his half-remembered dreams. She smiled sadly. "They wiped your mind, Jack. They didn't want humans to remember we lived among you. My family was taken, and I was forced back to my people's hidden world. But I never forgot you." Jack stared at her, stunned. "Why? Why would they erase my memories?" Celia's hologram looked down. "Because you are the key, Jack. Your DNA holds something special. Something my people need to survive. That's why I searched for you all this time. But now others know. They'll kill you before you can help." "You see." Jack clenched his fists. "What do you want me to do?" Celia's eyes glowed brighter. "Find me. There's a place, a hidden world where my people wait, dying slowly. I left the path for you. But hurry, Jack. The hunters will break in soon." Jack could hear faint banging on the stone door behind him. Time was running out. The hologram showed him a star map, coordinates blinking softly. "Come, Jack. Don't let them erase me from your mind again. Celia whispered. Jack stared at the map, then at her face. Even if he couldn't remember her fully, something inside him wanted to protect her. He smiled faintly. I'll find you, Celia. That's a promise. The hologram faded, but the path was clear. Jack ran back through a hidden passage, determined. Outside, danger waited. But ahead, answers, the truth, and the alien girl who knew his forgotten heart. Jack sprinted through the narrow stone passage. The hologram of Celia's star map burned into his mind. Behind him, the heavy door trembled, loud thuds echoing through the ancient walls. The hunters were cutting their way in. He didn't have much time. As Jack emerged from the hidden exit on the canyon's far side, he saw his shuttle waiting, the engines still warm. But across the ridge, shadows moved, armed figures in dark armor, their visors glowing red. They had found him. Arrow, prepare the shuttle for immediate liftoff, Jack whispered into his comms. Acknowledged, Captain. Engines warming up now. Arrow responded. Blaster shots fired from the ridge. Jack ducked and fired back, but they had better aim, better weapons. He ran low, heart pounding, dirt kicking under his boots. A blast struck a rock near him, sending shards flying. One cut his cheek, but he didn't stop. His shuttle door opened just in time. Jack dove inside as more shots struck the hull. Get us in the air, Arrow. Now, with a roar, the shuttle lifted off, engines blazing. The hunters fired again, but the ship shot upwards, leaving them behind. Jack slumped in his seat, breathing hard, the cut on his face stinging. But he smiled. He had the coordinates. Plot a course to the hidden world, Arrow, he ordered. Coordinates locked. It will be a difficult route, Captain. This system is surrounded by gravitational rifts and asteroid fields, Arrow warned. Jack leaned back, wiping the blood from his cheek. Nothing's ever easy, is it? The stargazer jumped to warp speed, stars stretching into lines of light. But even in the silence of space, Jack couldn't rest. He stared out the window, thinking of Celia's face, her soft voice, her sad eyes. He still didn't remember her fully, but something about her made his chest ache. A connection he couldn't explain. Why me? He whispered to himself. Hours later, Arrow's voice woke him from uneasy sleep. Captain, we're approaching the rift zone. Gravitational waves detected. The ship's shields may not hold if we pass through directly. Jack stood, looking at the swirling mess of asteroids and glowing energy ahead. It looked like a storm frozen in space, violent and unforgiving. Any safe path? There is a narrow channel between the rifts, but it is unstable. Precision flying required, Arrow replied. Jack smiled faintly. Then let's dance. Gripping the controls, Jack guided the ship forward. The stargazer weaved between spinning rocks, dodging sudden bursts of energy that crackled like lightning. The ship shook, alarms blaring. One wrong move and they'd be crushed or torn apart. But Jack was focused. He moved with instinct, reading the space like an old map. His hands were steady, his eyes sharp. Then, just when the turbulence reached its worst, calm. The stargazer broke through. Ahead was clear space, a distant green and blue planet glowing under a golden sun. Arrow spoke. Captain, the planet matches the hidden coordinates. Life signs detected. Strong energy fields surround it, cloaking it from scanners. We are the first human ship to see this world. Jack stared in wonder. Celia, I'm coming. As he prepared for descent, Arrow gave a final warning. Captain. Multiple ships detected, small, fast, and armed. They are not friendly. Jack's jaw tightened. The hunters had followed him. Somehow they navigated the rift too. But he wasn't going to back down. As the enemy ships closed in, Jack pushed the stargazer faster, diving into the planet's atmosphere. Fire streaked around the hull from re-entry, but he didn't slow down. Behind, Lasers fired, explosions lighting up the sky. Then a message crackled on his Celia's voice. "Jack, I see you. Head to the northern ridge. My people will cover you." Jack smiled. "On my way, neighbor." Suddenly, the sky lit up with blue energy beams, alien defenses rising from the ground. Celia's people were fighting back, giving Jack an opening. He weaved through clouds, enemy ships exploding behind him until he finally broke free of the fight. Below, he saw a hidden city, built into the cliffs and forests, glowing with gentle lights. And standing on a high platform, watching the sky, was her Celia. She was real. She was waiting, and Jack was finally here. But he knew this was just the beginning, because the hunters wouldn't stop. And neither would he. Jack stepped out of the battered stargazer, his boots sinking into the soft green soil of the hidden planet. The air was warm and rich with the scent of strange flowers and humming energy. Above, giant silver-leaved trees reached into the sky, their glowing vines twisting like slow-moving rivers of light. At the end of a stone path stood Celia. She was more beautiful than Jack remembered. Her violet skin glowed softly under the twin moons, and her silver hair floated like silk in the gentle breeze. She watched him with those bright, silver eyes full of memories that he could not recall. For a moment, neither spoke. Jack stared, waiting for answers, his heart pounding louder than the ships in the sky. Finally, Celia smiled gently. "You came," she whispered, her voice like a song he'd forgotten but still knew the tune of. Jack stepped closer, his hand resting on his blaster, half in caution, half in habit. "I didn't come for a memory," he said. "I came for the truth." "Why me, Celia? Why now?" She lowered her eyes, sadness flickering across her face. "Because you are the only human who carries what we need to survive," she said softly. Jack frowned. "What do you mean? What do I carry?" Celia waved her hand, and a glowing arch of light formed behind her, opening into a wide hall filled with crystalline structures and floating lights. "Come inside. I will show you." Jack followed her through the glowing halls, the walls shimmering with patterns that shifted like waves. Other violet-skinned people watched him silently, curiosity and hope in their eyes. They reached a chamber where a massive crystal floated in the air, pulsing with soft blue light. Celia turned to him. "Our people, the Nixari, are dying, Jack. Our life force is bound to these crystals. But they are weakening, and our bodies cannot survive without them. Long ago, our scientists searched for a solution. They discovered that only a genetic spark from humans could restore the crystals, but not just any human. One whose DNA was compatible with the Nixari life stream." Jack shook his head, confused. "Why me? How did I become compatible?" Celia smiled faintly. "Because you and I played together when we were children. Jack, our contact, our bond, it changed us both. My people studied you in secret and discovered that your DNA absorbed something from me, something unique. But when they realized this, the humans who feared us wiped your memory and forced us back here." Jack stared, his mind spinning. "So I carry your people's cure in my blood?" Celia nodded slowly. "Yes, if you let us, we can use a part of your DNA to restore our crystals, to save us from extinction." Jack paced the room, struggling to believe it. "And what happens to me? Do I survive this process?" Celia's eyes filled with pain. "You will live, but it will bind you to us. Forever. You'll become part of the Nixari life stream. You'll change, Jack, not entirely human anymore." Jack froze. His heart pounded. Change? Forever? He hadn't asked for this. He only wanted answers, not to lose his humanity. But when he looked into Celia's eyes, something inside him stirred. He didn't remember the child he was, but he saw the lonely girl he'd left behind. Then Celia stepped closer, placing a gentle hand on his chest. "I never forgot you, Jack. Every night I looked at the stars and wondered if you would ever remember me. Now you're here, and my people have hope again. But the choice is yours. I will not force you." Jack looked down at her hand, then at the crystal pulsing behind her. He thought of the hunters chasing him, the ones who wanted him dead. If he walked away, they'd still come. If he helped, he'd never be the same again. But he'd save an entire people, and he'd save her. Jack took a deep breath. "Show me how it works," he said. Celia's eyes glimmered with relief and gratitude. "Follow me, Jack. The awakening begins tonight." As they walked deeper into the glowing halls, Jack whispered to himself, "What did I get myself into?" But deep inside, a forgotten piece of his heart whispered back, "You're home." Jack stood before the great crystal chamber, its blue glow pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Around him, Nixari elders in flowing silver robes chanted in low voices. The air felt alive, thick with energy. Celia stood beside him, her silver hair shining under the crystal's light. She looked proud, but also worried. She had warned Jack once. He went through this ritual. He could never go back to being fully human. Yet Jack remained silent, his mind heavy with thoughts that his choice could save an entire species. Or it could doom him to become something else, half human, half Nixari. Still, his heart was steady. He wasn't the kind of man to run from a promise. Just as the elders raised their hands to begin, the chamber lights flickered. The chanting stopped. Celia's face darkened with sudden fear. Then the alarms rang out loud, sharp tones echoing through the halls. A Nixari guard sprinted in, shouting, "The hunters! They've broken through the planetary shield. They're inside the city." Jack's blood ran cold. He knew they'd come, but so soon? Celia grabbed his hand, squeezing tightly. "Jack, we have to hurry. If they reach you, they'll kill you before the bond can be made. You're the only key." But before Jack could speak, another voice cut through the chamber, cold. Familiar. "You're too late, alien." Jack spun around, his blaster drawn, but he wasn't fast enough. From the shadows stepped the bounty hunter. A tall man clad in black armor, visor glowing red. Behind him, two more hunters aimed their rifles at Jack and Celia. The hunter chuckled darkly. "You really made this easy, Jack. Tracking your ship wasn't hard. I told them humans are always predictable." Jack aimed his blaster, but the hunter shook his head. "Shoot me, and my men kill everyone here, including your lovely alien girlfriend." Jack's finger twitched on the trigger. "What do you want?" Jack spat. The hunter stepped closer. "We don't care about these aliens. We want you. Or rather, what's inside you. The DNA key. Our employers will pay more for your body, dead or alive." Celia's face turned pale. She stepped in front of Jack protectively. "You can't have him. His life is not yours to take." The hunter laughed. "Oh, but it is. He belongs to humanity. You think you can just take him and twist him into one of you? No, he's ours." Jack's mind raced. He couldn't win in a shootout, not with Celia and the elders at risk. But then he remembered the crystal. The Nixari had said the bonding process could awaken his connection. Maybe even change him enough to fight back. It was dangerous. He might lose himself, but doing nothing meant death. Jack looked at Celia, her eyes pleading for him to run, to escape. But he shook his head. "I made my choice already," he said quietly. Then he turned and ran straight to the crystal, ignoring the shouts behind him. "Jack, no!" Celia cried. The hunters opened fire. Bolts of energy flew past, but Jack dove forward, blue energy blasting outward in waves. The ground shook, walls cracking from the power. The hunters screamed as the energy hit them, their weapons shorting out, their bodies flung back violently. Jack felt his body burning, not with pain, but with power. His veins glowed blue under his skin. His vision sharpened, hearing every sound, feeling every vibration in the room. Celia rushed to his side, holding him as he gasped for breath. "Jack, are you all right? Can you hear me?" Jack opened his eyes. They glowed faintly, just like the Nixari. He smiled weakly. "I hear everything, Celia, even the heartbeat of this world." The hunters lay unconscious, defeated by the crystal's awakening. Jack had changed. He was no longer just human, but he was alive and powerful, and he had made his choice. He would stand with Celia, with the Nixari, even if it meant never being the same again. Jack stood in the heart of the Nixari city, his body still glowing faintly from the bonding with the crystal. His veins shimmered with blue light beneath his skin, his senses sharper than ever before. He could hear the city breathing, the energy flowing through walls, the pulse of life in the soil, and even the soft heartbeat of Celia, who stood by his side. She stared at him with awe and relief, her silver eyes glistening. "You've changed, Jack," she whispered, stepping closer. "You're not fully human anymore." Jack looked down at his glowing hands. "Maybe not," he said softly, "but I'm still me. I remember now. I remember you." Celia gasped, her hands covering her mouth. Memories flooded Jack's mind, running in the fields as children, hiding under trees, making promises under the stars. He remembered her laughter, her kindness, and the day she was taken away by people in dark suits, humans who made him forget everything about her. But not anymore. The crystal had restored what was stolen from him. Celia stepped closer, her voice trembling. "I thought I'd never hear you say that again." Jack smiled weakly, his eyes locked with hers. "I'm sorry I forgot you, Celia, but I'm here now, and I won't leave." Before she could reply, an explosion shook the city. The hunters weren't done yet. Their reinforcements had arrived, and the sky burned with fire and ships descending fast. Eero's voice crackled in Jack's earpiece. "Captain, hostile forces are breaching the outer defenses. We won't last long without help." Jack's eyes burned with determination. "We end this now," he said. Celia's eyes sparkled with pride and hope. "Together?" she asked. Jack nodded, stepping forward. "Together." He raised his hand, focusing on the crystal energy inside him. Blue light burst from his palms, forming a glowing shield that surrounded the city. The Nixari gasped as they watched Jack stand at the city's edge, his body burning with power. The hunters tried to push through, firing everything they had, but their weapons melted against the glowing shield. Jack's voice echoed across the battlefield, amplified by the crystal's power. "You can't have me. You can't have them. Go back and tell your masters, the Nixari are under my protection now." The hunters hesitated. They weren't prepared for this, for a human wielding Nixari energy. One by one, their ships retreated, vanishing into the sky. Silence returned, and the shield faded. The city was safe. Celia ran to Jack, throwing her arms around him. He held her tightly, his body weak but his heart full. "You kept your promise." "Jack," she whispered, tears in her eyes, "you remembered me." He smiled, resting his forehead against hers. "I could never forget again. I'm part of you now, forever." The elders gathered, bowing deeply to Jack. He was more than a visitor, more than a human. He was one of them. In that moment, under the twin moons of the hidden world, Celia whispered the words Jack would never forget. "Welcome home, Jack." And this time, he truly was home.